Hi everyone, and welcome to the Profit Tuning Series for Wholesale Distribution Companies. My name is Randy MacLean. I'm the founder and creator of WayPoint Analytics, and today's topic is Wholesale Distribution Basic Math. Now, before you tune out, thinking you know basic math, I'd like to give you a refresher course so that you can start thinking about the math in a different way and share this with your people so that you can drive more profitability without having to work so hard. Okay, the objectives of today's session are to take a fresh look at the business model for wholesale distribution companies and to shift our focus and the focus of our people onto the things that matter most. That is, the things that actually drive their profitability. Hopefully at the end of this time we'll have a specific framework which we can use to get people to think about their jobs in a different way and take action what they wouldn't have in the past, and that will translate into a better bottom line. The reason this matters is that the average or poor results are usually caused by a lack of focus on the right things. Frankly, you'll find that many of your people don't really understand how the business works at the same level that you do, and if they did, a lot more of your business would run more efficiently and more profitably because they'd be making better decisions in their day-to-day actions. We'd like to make sure that they're spending time on things that actually matter and that will make a difference to the bottom line. And we'd also like to think that addressing this, getting more people to think about more things, will actually make the company automatically make a better bottom line. And certainly that's been our experience. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is spread, just to simplify the matter. And frankly, there are a couple of things that happen that make the business operate or generate profits. The whole business runs on the spread between gross profit that's generated on sales and cost to serve, or the amount of money we spend in our operations. The idea is to widen the spread as much as we can, making more money for the company and for the sales force that's generating the sales. So to put some more specific terms on it, we talk about gross profit. That is the amount of money that we have left after we paid for procuring our product, or paying for the product in procurement, is the amount of money that we have to work as an operating budget, whether it be for the sale, for a territory or customer, or even for the whole company. That's the amount of money that we have to spend in operations. Cost to serve is the total amount of expenses that we have, excluding the cost of the sales people. We'd like to leave them to the end, and we'd like to be able to deduct the cost to serve from gross profit, leaving NBC, or net before compensation. The purpose of NBC is to give us a good number that we can use that integrates not only the volume and margin that we make on sales, but also takes into account our operating costs. So ultimately what we'd like everybody to do throughout the company, or what we'd like to happen throughout the company, is that we'd like to make sure that we're increasing volume and margin, and we'd like to reduce transaction counts, and that's actually how we make more money on the sales that we have or in the environment that we're working. So let's talk about those things specifically. Gross profit is a function, as I said, of sales volume and margin. Essentially everybody knows that, and most companies are very good at managing that into the equation. Where we fall down is we don't do enough on the other side. But it's important for people to understand that the gross profit is your operating budget. It's the amount of money that you have to spend on operations, be it at the company level, the customer level, the territory level, the sales rep level. Gross profit essentially needs to increase if you want to increase your expenses anywhere and maintain your profits. And where we have situations where cost to serve exceeds gross profit, then what we want to do is increase volume, either increase revenue by adding volume or raise prices by increasing the margin. Either one of those will increase the amount of unit gross profit that we have in order to cover greater expenses or to leave more spread. Cost to serve is our operating expenses and excludes sales pay. There's some reasons why we leave that out that we won't go into in this session. But take it from me that it's an excellent way to measure expenses or operating expenses, is to leave the sales pay out of the equation. and to look at all of the actual operating expenses that we have in terms of running the company and delivering the product into the customer's hands. Operating expenses are largely driven by transaction counts, and more orders, the more invoices, more lines, more shipments that you have to process, the higher the expenses you're going to have. Conversely, you can reduce those costs, the cost to serve, by reducing those numbers because they are closely correlated. And that's the trick. That's where companies get more efficiency and generate profits where other competitors don't know how to do that. So where cost to serve exceeds GP, the other thing we can do is reduce transaction counts. We can eliminate certain cost to serve cost items. For instance, that's what we do when we make a house account. We wind up taking sales commission, sales pay out of it. Or when we have a direct sale, we wind up taking our warehousing costs and our delivery costs out of the equation, and that reduces our cost to serve, therefore increasing the spread or increasing our profits. The other thing we can do is we can add fees for services to offset the cost to serve. So where we have places where we have additional costs, it's a good idea to be able to collect or monetize the services that we're providing there in order to offset the cost to serve. Net before compensation, or NBC, is the best measure for running a business. It's a good unified measure, and the reason why it's much, much better than using gross margin as a measure is because it takes the costs of operating the business into account. And so you can increase NBC by either increasing gross profit, by increasing volume and margin, or you can increase it by reducing cost to serve. And one method isn't any better than another method, as long as they translate into commensurate dollars. And so the NBC is a good way of looking at that. Many companies use the NBC measure to compensate their sales force to make sure that they get on board instead of using margin and gross profit, which doesn't take the cost into account. And that gets the sales force to give more consideration to the cost consumption or the resource consumption that are driving costs in the business. So NBC accounts for both gross profit and costs. It's the amount of money that is left after we procured and paid for the product and delivered into the customer's hands. And it's the amount of money that's shared between the salesperson and the company. And it's the best value for planning and communication within the business. So we recommend to all of our clients that they always use NBC for discussing things within the company. Somebody has a program, that's something they want to do, they want to have a price decrease, they want an exception somewhere. The first question always is what will be the NBC after we do that. And if we do that, if we integrate that into our communications process, that means whenever somebody is looking at something they want to get done or they want an approval on, they're going to come to know that you're going to be asking for the NBC number and to see what the impact of that is. And when they look at the number themselves, if they see that it's going to cause the sale to go underwater, then they'll know that that's not something that you're likely going to want to be able to approve. So in conclusion, I think all companies, in fact, we recommend that all companies are managing both the gross profit, gross margin, and the cost to serve through the NBC. The gross profit must be above the cost to serve at every level, and therefore the NBC is positive. Should use NBC as the best unified measure to communicate and to evaluate the value of particular sales. And you should get everybody involved so they can help with this. So that's it for today. I hope this has been helpful and valuable for you, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you in future sessions. Thanks, and bye-bye.
Hi, it's Randy MacLean. If you found this video helpful, we have so much more to share with you. Just head over to apicconference.com/profit and sign up for our innovative Profit Tips series. It's a great collection of materials all designed to show you how to drive more profit in your business without necessarily having to increase sales. Or simply text your name and email address to 480-207-3433 and we'll get you started right away.